There is a thing called quiet quitting going on right now, and it's actually happening in two places. The first one is people are actually walking out the door, right? You know these people, you've seen it happen. Then there's another group of people, and they're the disengaged. And I don't know if you know this, but 70% of your workforce or the company you work for, the people that work in it are disengaged. But why? I think the majority of us say to ourselves, oh, people today don't have the work ethic that we used to have. They're not committed. They don't understand. It's so easy to sit there and blame people, right? But in reality, I want you to know what this is really happening. So let's talk about what this looks like from a disengaged standpoint. So somebody that's disengaged is chronically missing deadlines. They're asking the same questions over and over and over again. It's like you're telling them something and it just goes right off. It doesn't actually sink in. And they're requiring a ton of hand holding. It's like they just can't seem to get the ball to the next level. And maybe most recently, they've also started missing deadlines and they've stopped responding to people. Well, this is all symptoms. These are all symptoms of being disengaged. But is it really a work ethic problem or is there more to it? Now, 7 years ago, I would have told you that this was most definitely a work ethic issue. Why don't people work hard enough? Why could this, why do I keep finding people that aren't working hard? I would have picked up that pitchfork and joined the angry mob of why doesn't anyone have the work ethic that I have? Except I know after working with 2,500 employees and their employers that this is just not the case. There's actually a much simpler problem that I want to talk about. And that is there's a good chance that the people that you work with do not understand how they move the needle for the business. They look at everything they're doing as a task, and they're just trying to get the task off their list. And when people get into task mode, things get dangerous because when something's a task, like folding laundry, that's a task, right? You can throw that together. People aren't going to die from that. Your customers aren't going to be pissed unless maybe you do that for a living. But let's be real, like that is truly a task, right? But if you go to any person's desk in your office right now, and this is also saying that they are working in an office, you will see this thing called a to-do list. The majority of us have to-do lists. They are miles long, and items get added to them every single day. And I'm just going to use you an example of somebody that has 3 written on there. The first one is create an earnings report for Brad. The next one is update the weekly dashboard. And the last one is meet with client ABC to review metrics. Now, is this a real person? No. But for a second, just hang with me. Let's look at create an earnings report for Brad. So if I don't understand how I specifically move the needle, then I might say to myself, why does this matter? Why does it matter if we give a earnings report to Brad? Because you don't know where you fit. And because you don't know where you fit and the value that you bring to the organization, nothing matters to you. You are disengaged. Now, how does this happen? It happens when we do not receive feedback. So when you think about it for a second, weight loss is the best example of this, right? You eat right, you exercise, a week goes by, the scale doesn't move. You eat right, you exercise, another week goes by, the scale doesn't move. After 2 weeks, the majority of people give up. That is disengagement, my friends. And it happens because you are not seeing any feedback. You are putting inputs in and not receiving any inputs out, I guess. Anyway, so with that in mind, putting this together for Brad, this earnings report for Brad, If Brad isn't coming by and saying, man, that was so helpful when I met with so-and-so client, they're going to actually sign another year with us. Thank you for doing that work. Feedback, right? Or your boss is like, man, that report you've been putting together for Brad, I want you to do the same report for Sally and Bill because this report has done this for Brad. Feedback, right? And back to the non-feedback, right? Our brains are designed for us to stop doing things when we do not receive feedback. So it's normal and natural to stop doing something if you're not receiving feedback. If you do not see the long or short game of why you were doing this task. So today, if you want to re-engage your workforce and you personally want to get re-engaged with the work that you want to do, I want you to start asking why. What does this affect? How does it affect change? Because I can tell you right now, after working with these 2,500 people, I have yet to find someone who does not move the needle in one of three ways. Sometimes more, but at least one of the three. Saving time, saving money, or increasing revenue. You would not have a job right now if you did not save time, save money, or increase revenue for your business. So today, find out what needle you move. Find out what your team's needle is so that they understand what needles they move and how they are a vital part in the process. If you do this, you will retain workers and their productivity will go up.